Welcome back to The Takeout. It has been described as a processing issue. Not sure what that means, but it has delayed deployment of the National Guard troops to Portland. But they're still going to arrive because President Trump has ordered them to go to Portland. Democratic Congresswoman Andrea Salinas joins me now from Capitol Hill. She represents Oregon's 6th Congressional District, which, if you look up, is just to the south and the west of Portland and very near Portland. Congresswoman, I'm glad you're here. What is your knowledge of where the National Guard troops are, how soon they will arrive in Portland?
Well, we are challenging President Trump's order to bring in the National Guard. So we believe that it could be delayed by a couple of days. And it sounds like the Attorney General has a case that could be heard as early as Friday. So the National Guard right now is, it sounds like, in Salem, but could be as close as Milwaukee, not exactly in Portland right now. But honestly, President Trump does not have a case to move the National Guard into Portland.
CBS News has reviewed lots of Justice Department federal filings, and it reveals that 8 cases involve assaults against law enforcement outside the ICE facility in Portland. And some of these are rather serious assault cases. And it is on this basis that the administration is saying that there is some form of lawlessness that must be addressed. Do you agree with that sentiment, separate from the National Guard deployment question?
The Portland Police Bureau, as well as the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and the state police, have all testified that they have local law enforcement under control, including that which takes place at the Portland ICE facility in Portland. And so I would assume that those 3 agencies would not lie to the federal government and would attest that they have things under control. And if they were to need help, they would ask for it. And so given that they have assured us, they have assured the governor, they've assured the congressional delegation that they feel comfortable with their own abilities, I feel very comfortable with that.
What would be the words you would use to describe, Congresswoman, the conditions around the ICE facility in Portland?
I was out there about 2 weeks ago when I visited. I asked for a meeting with folks out there, and it was in the middle of the day, I will admit that. And there were 3 protesters out there. They were all over the age of 65, and they were all female. And they were out there, you know, walking in front of the facility, but there was no rioting. There was no vandalism. It was not an insurrection, and it did not look like an invasion, and it did not rise to the level of needing National Guard troops to come in and remove these 3 women. They were not doing anything in my mind. I'm not an attorney and I'm not law enforcement, but it did not look like it needed even local law enforcement intervention, and certainly not National Guard intervention.
Congresswoman, that's your eyewitness account. Would you say that is the totality of the experience at that facility?
That is what I had been hearing from my local mayor, from the city council, from the governor's office, from local elected officials, from people who live in the area as well. So yeah, that had been the account that I had been seeing. And what I was hearing was that President Trump was recounting visuals and videos that he had been looking at from 2020. But if you are going to call in the National Guard, it needs to rise to the level of an insurrection. And in my mind, and I would hope in President Trump's mind, an insurrection looks similar to what he caused on January 6th in 2021 here at the U.S. Capitol. He should know what an insurrection looks like. Nothing of that magnitude is happening in Portland, Oregon, nor is there a foreign invasion taking place right now in Oregon. And so he knows better. He knows that that is not happening. And if he doesn't know better, then he must have some cognitive impairment that is making him believe otherwise.
Representative Andrea Salinas, 6th District of Oregon, Democrat. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Likewise, take care.